The screen stays black. A weak sound comes from the darkness. A mother crying, a police siren. Then a young boy's voice whispers, "I only wanted to try it once." Silence. And then 3 years later, they found him dead in an empty room.
This is not just a story.
This is the dark truth about drugs, a truth that destroyed millions of lives, families, dreams, and souls. Tonight, you are going to enter a world where happiness is fake, friends become strangers, and one small decision can quietly destroy an entire life. And the scariest part, most victims never thought it would happen to them. The rain was falling hard outside the small city streets. 17-year-old Daniel walked home alone after school. His clothes were wet. His eyes looked tired. At home, his parents fought every night. His father shouted. His mother cried. And Daniel stayed silent. Every single day felt heavy, like something inside him was slowly dying. At school, nobody understood him. He smiled around people. But inside, he was breaking apart. One night, while sitting behind the school football ground, a boy named Marcus sat beside him. Marcus was older, cool, confident. Everyone liked him. He pulled out a cigarette and smiled. "You look stressed," he said. Daniel stayed quiet. Marcus laughed softly. "You know, there's a way to forget everything." Daniel looked at him. That one sentence changed his entire life. Slow cinematic silence. Marcus took out a small packet, white powder. Daniel looked nervous. "I don't do drugs," he whispered. Marcus smirked. "Relax. Everybody tries it once." Everybody tries it once. The most dangerous sentence in the world. Daniel hesitated. His hands shook. But deep inside, he wanted the pain to stop, just for a little while. So he tried it. And for a few moments, everything disappeared. The sadness, the pressure, the fear. He felt light, happy, free. But what Daniel did not know was that drugs never come alone. They arrive smiling and leave carrying your soul. Days passed. Daniel started using more. At first, only on weekends. Then every day. Then every morning. His eyes became red. His grades dropped. He stopped talking to his family. He stopped playing football, stopped laughing, stopped dreaming. But whenever someone asked if he was okay, he smiled and lied. "I'm fine." That is how addiction grows. Quietly, slowly, like poison moving through the body. Nobody notices until it is too late. One evening, Daniel's mother entered his room. The smell was strange. The room was messy. Money was missing from her purse. She looked at her son with tears in her eyes.
"Daniel, are you taking drugs?"
He exploded in anger.
"No, leave me alone."
His mother stepped back in shock. "That night," she cried outside his bedroom door while Daniel sat inside, using drugs again. The boy she once carried in her arms was disappearing, and she could do nothing to stop it. Arc screen. Narration slowly continues. Drugs do not only destroy the person using them, they destroy everyone around them. The family suffers. Friends suffer. Children suffer. Even innocent people suffer. Because addiction turns love into pain. Weeks later, Daniel needed more drugs to feel normal. His body had changed. He could not sleep without them. He could not smile without them. He could not live without them. The drugs had become his master. One night, Marcus took him to an abandoned apartment. Inside were young people sitting on dirty floors. Some were laughing strangely. Some looked unconscious. Some looked completely lost. A girl in the corner stared at the wall without blinking. Daniel whispered, "What happened to her?" Marcus shrugged. "Too much heroin." The girl looked no older than 16. Her arms were covered with marks. Her face looked pale like death. And yet, nobody helped her. Because in that room, everybody was drowning. Cinematic pow. See, Daniel slowly realized the truth. This was not freedom. This was prison. But by then, it was already too late. The human brain changes with drugs. The chemicals take control. The body begins to beg for more. And when the drugs disappear, the suffering begins. Sweating, shaking, pain, fear, madness. Some people scream. Some people steal. Some people even kill. Not because they are evil, but because addiction controls them. Daniel tried to stop many times, but every time he stopped, the pain returned stronger. One night he looked at himself in the mirror. His face looked thin. His eyes looked empty. He barely recognized himself. "What happened to me?" he whispered. But the mirror gave no answer, only silence. At school, students avoided him. Teachers gave up on him. His father called him a failure. And Marcus? Marcus disappeared. That is another dark truth about drugs. The people who pull you into darkness are rarely there when you suffer. Daniel became desperate. He sold his phone, his clothes, his mother's jewelry, anything for drugs. Addiction had turned a good boy into someone he never imagined becoming. One cold night, Daniel entered his little sister's room while she slept. He quietly took money from her school bag. As he turned to leave, she woke up. Her tiny voice shook.
Daniel, why are you stealing from me?
He froze. She looked at him with tears. And in that moment, something inside him broke. But addiction was stronger than guilt. He still walked away. The rain outside became louder, like the world itself was crying. Days later, police found Marcus dead in a bathroom. Overdose. 20 years old. Gone forever. People at school talked about him for 2 days. Then life moved on. That is the cruel reality. The world forgets quickly. But families never forget. Marcus's mother stood at his funeral, unable to breathe from crying. She touched his cold face one last time, a mother saying goodbye to her son. Because of drugs. Daniel attended the funeral silently. Fear entered his heart. For the first time, he saw where this road ended. Death, loneliness, darkness. But addiction does not release people easily. It chains them, even when they are terrified. One evening, Daniel collapsed on the street. His body shook violently. An ambulance arrived. Doctors rushed him into the hospital. Machines beeped loudly. His mother held his hand tightly. "Please don't leave me," she cried. Daniel opened his eyes weakly. For the first time in years, he saw the pain he had caused, not only to himself, but to everyone who loved him. Slow emotional music. The doctor spoke quietly outside the room. "If he continues like this, he may not survive." Those words hit his mother like a knife. Daniel heard everything, and suddenly, all the fake happiness from drugs disappeared. Only truth remained. Drugs never solve pain. They only hide it for a moment, then return it. Then worse. The next morning, Daniel entered rehabilitation. The beginning was hell. His body screamed for drugs. He sweated through nights. He shook with pain. Sometimes he begged for just one more dose. But slowly, very slowly, he began fighting back. Day by day, step by step, he met people there with heartbreaking stories. A young athlete who lost his career. A mother who lost custody of her child. A teenager who became homeless. All because of addiction. Drugs had stolen their futures. But inside rehab, Daniel learned something powerful. People are not born addicts. Sometimes they are broken people searching for escape, searching for peace, searching for someone to understand them. And that is why the fight against drugs is not only about saying don't do it. It is about helping people before they fall into darkness. It is about listening, loving, understanding. Because pain hidden inside the heart can become deadly. Months passed. Daniel slowly changed. His face looked healthier. His eyes became alive again. One morning he walked outside rehab and saw the sunrise. For years he had forgotten how beautiful the world looked without drugs. The wind touched his face. Birds sang softly. And Daniel cried, not from pain, but because he finally felt alive again. Yet scars remained. Some friendships were gone forever. His school life was destroyed. Trust was broken. Addiction leaves wounds long after the drugs disappear. That is another truth nobody talks about. Recovery is possible, but the damage can last forever. Years later, Daniel visited schools to tell his story. Students sat silently listening. He showed them old pictures of himself, healthy, happy, full of dreams. Then he showed photos from addiction, thin body, dead eyes, broken soul. The room became silent. Daniel looked at the students and said, "Drugs don't destroy you in one day. They steal your life piece by piece. Until one day, there is nothing left." Nobody moved. Some students cried quietly, because deep down, they understood. Narration slows. Every year, millions of people around the world die because of drugs. Some overdose. Some lose their minds. Some destroy their families. And some survive, but spend their whole lives fighting the darkness inside them. Drug dealers become rich, but families become empty. Children lose parents. Parents lose children. Dreams turn into funerals. And the saddest part, many victims started with only one small choice. Just once. One pill, one smoke, one injection, one moment. And then, a lifetime of pain. The screen slowly fades darker. A final cinematic scene appears. An empty room. A broken chair. Old photographs lying on the floor. A mother quietly holding a picture of her son. Outside, rain falls softly against the window. Narrator speaks slowly. Some monsters do not hide under beds. Some come in powder. Some come in pills, and some come disguised as escape. But every single one carries the same ending: pain, silence, death. So if you are watching this right now, and someone tells you drugs will make life better, remember Daniel. Remember Marcus. Remember every family destroyed by addiction. Because the truth is simple: Drugs never save people. They only slowly erase them. And sometimes, by the time a person realizes the truth, it is already too late. Black screen. Final line appears slowly. One small choice can destroy an entire life.